Hey, it's Erica, and welcome to day 3 of our 5-day, 5-pound challenge. I hope that everybody is filling out checking off their checklist. I'm checking off mine. I do have a few holes in that checklist, and you know what? It's always a work in progress. It's always a journey. If you can just be mindful of something that you didn't know of yesterday, or implement something new and just start making those small tips and those small habits more on a consistent basis, and you're gonna start seeing a lot of big changes. So today I'm going to be talking about time restricted eating, and it's not only important in your weight, but it's also super important in your health, because at the end of these 5 days, we don't only want to be smaller versions of ourselves, we want to be healthier versions of ourselves, right? So of course I recommend eating, a whole foods, plant-based diet. That's where we're going to get a ton of our nutrients and our fiber from. I personally do eat animal protein. I'm not totally against it, but if you are going to eat animal protein, really try to purchase the highest quality of meat that you can afford, because there's certainly a lot of crap that can go into meats. So, it could be hormones, it could be antibiotics, it could be inhumanely raised, animals. So just think about that when you're purchasing your meats. I do use a company called ButcherBox, and if you need a link to that, I put a link in the comments, and I'll just make sure I remember to do that. So time restricted eating. So if you've never done it before, you want to make sure you just start off and meet yourself where you are. If you are used to eating breakfast and you love breakfast, then you have to just think about pushing it back, because when it comes to time restricted eating, I follow pretty much like a 16-8, and the easiest way to eat in an 8-hour window and fast in a 16-hour window, I usually skip breakfast or push it back. So I eat in about I eat in an 8-hour window, and I eat about 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So give or take about a half an hour. So when you start off, just meet yourself where you are, and I guarantee you, I promise you, it will get easier. So I like to eat dinner with my family, FYI, and that's another reason why I skip breakfast, because I find that dinner is a really good time for, the family to get together, you spend time together, and you break bread together. So, all right, so when we eat in a narrow feeding window, that means we're fasting for about 16 hours. And that 16-hour period is really important for giving our body a break. Our body needs to digest food, it needs to detoxify, it needs to heal, our immune system needs to heal, the inflammation needs to go down. So during that 16-hour period, a lot of magic takes place, and it really, really gives our body a break. And I tell you that a lot of us, and the majority of the population, has been programmed back to programming and are used to eating all day. So you might wake up, have a cup of coffee with cream and sugar, you might grab a bagel on the way to work if you're going into work, or we've grown up teaching our children to eat breakfast, and that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And our food industry and our healthcare industry has really been pushing this. So there has been, and I'm sure if you haven't done intermittent fasting, you've probably heard of it, a ton of science that is behind intermittent fasting or time restricted eating. There's other different types of time restricted eating. There's like a 5-day fast. There's other things besides intermittent fasting. But there is a lot of research and a lot of great information that's coming up to support time restricted eating. So when we're eating 24/7 and eating dinner and then having dessert and then waking up, the kids or they're staying up later because it's summer and having a midnight snack or whatever, we are stressing our body a lot. It's causing a lot of inflammation. It's causing our organs to work a lot. So it's causing a lot of stress on our body. And so we're really pulling back and giving our body a very much needed break. So how do you start? So again, just kind of meet yourself where you are and you will get used to it. A lot of it is emotional based eating. So if you are used to that cup of coffee in the morning and you just can't get away from that cup of coffee with cream and sugar, or your tea with milk and sugar, then you have to just kind of think why you're eating. Are you hungry, or is it just part of your routine? Is it something that you grew up doing? You have to figure out what these emotional ties are to eating and just kind of figure out how you can turn those around. So one of the important things I suggest is to make sure you are hydrated. So you want to make sure first thing in the morning, you are drinking about 16 ounces of water. And it doesn't have to be all in one shot. I don't know, I'm just used to drinking water. I carry my Yeti cup around everywhere with me, and I actually usually have it on my nightstand. So first thing in the morning, I'm drinking 16 ounces of water. But if you're not eating until 11 o'clock, you can still be drinking your water. Just drink that 16 ounces before you eat or drink anything else. So you need to stay hydrated during the day. And when you think, gosh, am I hungry or am I thirsty? And most of the time, our body mistakes hunger for thirst, right? Our body mistakes thirst for hunger. Anyhow, just make sure you stay hydrated. Or am I bored or am I hungry? So you have to check in with yourself and ask yourselves these questions. If you are working, and you are eating out of boredom, I tend to do that. What can you do instead? Let me take a break. Let me go outside. Let me take a walk. Let me do a few stretches. Let me drink a cup of tea, right? So figure out how you can break the snacking and these emotional ties that you have with eating. So make sure 16 ounces in the morning, and make sure you stay hydrated. You also want to make sure you don't drink a lot of fluid with your meals. So you want to avoid drinking more than 8 ounces of fluid during your meals, because that's going to dilute your digestive enzymes. So the next thing I want to talk about is eating fresh fiber first. So when you do eat, you want to start with eating fiber. So a salad, your vegetables, really getting that fiber into your body, because one, that's going to help produce digestive enzymes, and that's going to help start helping to digest your food when you do eat your meal. And also it's going to help keep you fuller, or get you to a fuller state, so that you are not, scarfing down. People eat like dessert before they eat dinner or whatever. So it's going to help with your satiety. All right. And then obviously your fiber, your vegetables has all your nutrients in it. And when you do pick your vegetables and your fruit, again, you want to make sure it is as clean as possible. So you can download the EWG, the Environmental Working Groups, Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. If you maybe can't afford to buy all of your produce organic, I certainly don't, you want to try to at least buy organic, the Dirty Dozen, right? Because those Dirty Dozen produce have the most amount of pesticides that we're going to be ingesting in our body, and that's going to be causing wreaking all kinds of havoc on our body, whether it's our hormones, our digestive system, our detoxification system, and that adds up over time, right? That body burden. So you can check EWG for the Dirty Dozen, the Clean 15. You can also check EWG for your personal care products. It's a really great resource. So try to eat as much clean produce as possible as well. And all right, so we talked about snacking and the emotional thing behind snacking. And then, let me know when you start doing this. Let me know in the comments how you're doing with your intermittent fasting and what emotional ties you feel like you're having with eating and snacking and stuff like that, because I'd like to hear this, and I'd like to find ways to help you turn that around. So just remember, it takes about 24 hours for you to digest and process your food. So you really want to give your digestive system and your body's systems a break. Again, coffee, tea, lemon water, that kind of stuff before your feeding window during your fast is okay. You just can't have anything in your coffee or your tea or anything like that. And I hope these tips are really making you question things that you're doing on a daily basis and really adding value to what you can be doing to turn, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but anyhow, I hope these tips are just making you think, oh shoot, you know, I never really thought of it that way. And by implementing these little tips on a regular basis, I know that you are going to see changes and improvements in not only your weight, but your mental clarity, maybe your joint pain, your digestive issues. And if you want to let us know in the comments how this is affecting you, I would love to hear it. So good luck with your intermittent fasting, your 16-8 eating window, and let me know how you're doing. I will see you tomorrow.